and Lucky 13 is calling in right now. Let's add him on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my last guest on the last show of the year. Joining me at this time, had a busy weekend with the Cage of Death event for Combat Zone Wrestling. He's here to talk about that. Plus, what does he have in store for 2015? I'm joined with Lucky 13. He's with me right now. What's going on, man?
Not much. How'd you know it was me calling? Maybe it was someone else, the wrong number.
Hey, man. What's up?
Not much. I'm actually, currently drinking a screwdriver and talking to Danny Havoc, trying to make New Year's plans and watching this terrible football game right now.
Oh, the Titans and the Jaguars. Wow.
Yeah, holy shit. Who put this game on TV?
Yeah, that's that's just hard to that's a hard question to answer. I just don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's football.
And I don't even have any fantasy guys playing. I don't even know why I'm watching this.
Yeah.
I didn't bet on it. I think I'd have a gambling problem if I actually bet on this game.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would be the case for sure. But nonetheless, man, thank you again for calling in. Truly appreciate it. Let's talk about this event from this past weekend. Cage of Death. Highly anticipated. I was not able to watch the event on the iPay-per-view, but I heard great things about it. That being said, for those that were unable to watch it, talk about your match and how did you feel about the show overall?
Let's see. My match, we went on, second? Wrestled Papadon and Pepper and Cherry. So, it wasn't too bad. It was a quick match. We weren't really given a lot of time, even though, for the last two Cage of Deaths, we had that awesome opener, and then we're in the main event last year, and then we get, 7 minutes in the second match in this year's Cage of Death. So I don't know where they were going with that, but anyway. The rest of the show, I honestly didn't even watch any of it. We did our match. I cut a promo and ran to the liquor store, and then I pretty much just hung in the back and drank. I honestly didn't watch any of the show. So, yeah, me out there, that's not a gimmick. It's legitimately they kind of just, they're like, hey, you guys like drinking at shows. We're going to give you the Nation of Intoxication moniker. So.
Well, I do appreciate you for expressing that, because you know how people feel about characters and whatnot, and wonder if that's the real deal or not. I guess people will continue to speculate or whatever, but you acknowledge that, hey, this is who I am. Deal with it. And I gotta ask you this, man, since you brought up that you didn't have a lengthy match at the event, does, especially for a show that big, does it bother you that you don't necessarily get that much time to have a match like that for an event that big?
Absolutely. Kind of, all of us in the match, we saw that, and we're like, seriously, fucking the biggest show of the year, and we're getting fucking 7 to 8 minutes? Like, fuck, so we were all kind of, let down by that. But, at the same moniker, we're wrestling for one of the biggest companies on the East Coast. There was, 1,000 people there, so we still got to go out, in front of a big crowd and perform. And, when you get crowds like that, because the crowd at Cage of Death was absolutely phenomenal. A lot of casual fans showing up and seeing CZW for the first time and everything. So it's a lot of fun even to go out there and perform, even though we were only given, such a short amount of time. I would have liked to have a lot longer time and been able to, to do a lot more, but with the time we had and what we were supposed to do, I kind of thought we did our job, what we were supposed to do, more or less, and that's what, we get paid to do, is our job, so.
Tonight's show is the last show of the year. It's it's a chance to look back in the last 12 months of 2014, and from a wrestling fan standpoint, what is your favorite wrestling moment? It could be a match, it could be a rivalry, it could be from any company, including CCW. What do you consider your favorite wrestling moment of the year?
God, the year was so long. The two things as soon as you said that immediately stuck out of my mind aren't CZW moments. The one was Jersey All Pro did their anniversary show where they made their comeback. And it was like Kurt Angle was on the show, Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas, Matt Sydal, AJ Styles, Chris Hero, fucking, who else? Teddy Hart. It was fucking packed card, and I happened to get asked, like, last minute, like, hey, can you come and do this, lightweight juniors match? And I was like, oh, fucking awesome. So I showed up there, and it was, like, sold out. It was, like, 1,500 people or something. And my music hit, and I go out to the ring, and I get out there, and literally I didn't think anybody even knew who I was, and the whole entire crowd broke out in a giant CZW chant as I'm standing in the ring, and I was like, this is pretty fucking cool. So that was awesome that it stood out in my mind, being in a new place like that, and with all those guys on the card, and being standing in the ring, and then having the whole entire crowd just, acknowledge, the company that I really call my home, and know who I am, even though it was my first time there. So that was cool. And from a wrestling standpoint, it was JCW. I got to wrestle Sabu, who was one of the guys that really I looked up to when I was younger. So getting the chance to do that was really, kind of one of those dream come true kind of things. And I got to take the fucking Arabian face. But can I swear?
Yeah, yes, you can, sir.
Sorry. I got to take the Arabian face buster from him and stuff like that. So that was awesome to wrestle him. That was probably my favorite wrestling moment of the year as far as actually performing.
Okay, well.
So those are the two that stand out in my mind right away. The first two that you said that popped in my head.
Okay, and I'll ask you the same question, only this time a match that you actually watched that as from a fan's side of things. Like, what are your favorite? What stood out to you as a fan that you was able to watch?
Gosh, what matches were this year? I would say pretty much any match that Mike Bailey's in. That kid is unbelievable. He really, most of the time, I literally go out of my way to make sure I'm in the back watching his matches just because he does stuff that, I'm like, holy shit, man, this kid's awesome, and he's so young. And it's funny that, he's now in CZW and doing all this stuff because the first show he did with CZW, he walked up to me, and he was like, hey, man, Mike, whatever, I don't know if you remember me. You wrestled in, Gutentag or wherever it was, Montreal, right outside Montreal, Canada, like 6-7 years ago. And I was like a little 16-year-old kid doing ring crew at the time, and you talked to me and you were showing me some stuff before your match and everything. And I was like, oh, holy shit, yeah, I remember you. You were he was doing like standing Phoenix splashes in the ring, like practicing all his flips and stuff. And he's like, yeah. It's kind of, crazy how, like, our paths crossed again. And I'm like, that is crazy. And now I literally, he's so amazing at the stuff he does that I go out of my way, like I said, to make sure I always go out and watch his matches.
I'm definitely a fan of him as well, and just the high-flying ability. And I'll tell you what, man, you wrestlers are tough as nails, and I don't think y'all get enough credit for the
No, I think most of us are just dumb.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. Let's just go with the word crazy, because there are some things that y'all are willing to do in order to entertain. And that's a strong word you just pointed out. So I'll go with the word crazy. But y'all don't get enough credit for the athleticism and what y'all are willing to do. And let me just say, as a fan, thank you, Lucky 13, and all the wrestlers out there, whether it's indie and pro, for what y'all do. Because if you feel you're not getting enough appreciation, well, let me just say, I'm one of those fans that appreciate what you guys do for a living, and it's a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication that y'all put in, men and women, to do what y'all do for a living. So thank you, sir, and all the wrestlers, indie, pro, and past and present and future.
Oh, well, I mean, thank you, but I'm assuming you're talking to all of the other independent pro wrestlers when you're talking about
Yes.
dedication and hard work.
Yeah.
That's something that's usually not in my dictionary.
Yeah. So, as we enter to the year 2015, why don't you go ahead and, I know you got a show coming up in January. Other than that, why don't you go ahead and promote the upcoming shows you have coming up, not just for maybe the what's left for this year, but early 2015.
No, yeah, I'm taking the rest of this year off and just, going snowboarding the rest of the year pretty much. But I got the CZW show in January, and then debuting for Excellence Pro Wrestling in, what are they, Lansdale, Pennsylvania, a bunch of Chikara guys and CZW guys. So I'll be there. JCW is running a show again later in the month. I'm on that. Who's on that show? Psycho Sid Vicious is main eventing. Sandman's on it, the FBI. I'm wrestling Bandito Jr. actually for the lightweight title on that. And then there's the Sanctuary out in Hazleton, PA. It's run by Supremely Great, or John Trotsky, who online followed the Angry Wrestling Vet on Facebook. That's actually him, and it's his little company that he runs. And I go out there and help out whenever I can, because he was one of the guys who really helped bring me up in the business and stuff. So I kind of go out of my way when I can to help him out. And then as far as what else I have for 2015 so far, I know I have I think six dates in for a company up in Toronto, an upstart company up there that I don't know how much I can say about it, because I'm supposed to, not release too much information about it. Otherwise, they're running a bunch of shows up there, and I'll be up there. I know Bandito Jr. is with them. Joker G's is on the shows. I'm not sure who else from the CZW crew, but I know all those guys are. And then the Skate and Surf Festival this year, which is one of New Jersey's like punk, hardcore, pop punk, the biggest festival in New Jersey. They're doing pro wrestling on that this year, and it's me, Chris Sabin, X-Pac is on that. So we'll all be wrestling at the Skate and Surf this year, which is May 15th and 16th. Off the top of my head, that's all I can think of, the January dates and then all those. But that's pretty much all the upcoming stuff I can think of at the moment. I know Jersey All Pro's running again sometime. I don't know when. But and then all the CZW dates.
Well, that being said, please check out Lucky 13 and all the upcoming shows he mentioned. You can follow him on Twitter at Neo Shooter. That's NEO Shooter, and he'll let y'all know about those particular events when they approach, if you will. And what I've always wanted to ask wrestlers, especially about their stage name or gimmick, is that what made you call yourself Lucky 13, considering the number 13, a lot of people, superstitions, is an unlucky number? I'm just curious.
All right, well, I was originally Lucky in CZW back in 2006, 2007, when I was just breaking in and stuff like that, which was basically it was a nickname that I had coming up because when I backyard wrestled, I did a stupid leprechaun gimmick, and that kind of stuck with me. So when I went to school, Quackenbush and everybody, they always called me Lucky, so that name just kind of stuck. And then when I left wrestling and went into MMA and kickboxing, when I came back to CZW, they were like, hey, we're going to bring you back into CZW, but we want to bring you in as a totally different character. And I didn't even really get an option of the name 13. Someone else had it picked out for me, Mike Burns. And he was like, yeah, 13, we're going to add hurt in there. It's kind of like a play on words. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I kind of like it. And then after, Burns left CZW and the Cult Fiction gimmick kind of all disbanded, DJ was like, I want you to go back as Lucky. And I'm like, I kind of, don't really like that. I think it's dumb. Can I, stick with 13? And he was like, well, how about we make it Lucky 13? Because it's kind of like a play, like you said, on the unlucky number and then your name, and it's throwing your former name back in with your new name, and so it plays like a whole lot of different ways. And I'm like, oh, you know what, that's kind of unique and stands out a little bit, so let's roll with it. I mean, I don't know what the hell a Lucky 13 is or what kind of, character that's supposed to be. I guess, like I said, it's just me, but that's how I got the name.
In the West, as they say, is history. Well, Lucky 13, thank you for being my last interview guest of 2014. Let's just say that this interview went out with a bang, and it was great chatting with you, dude. And please, at the busy year you have had wrestling, please take care of yourself. Have a rest, Christmas break, and get ready for 2015 and moving forward, man. Again, thank you for being on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You have a good night, man.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.